We're fresh off a big weekend for WWE following Saturday night's main event and Evolution. So tonight's show dealt with some of the fallout from those shows. Naomi's successful Money in the Bank cash-in was a big talking point. But the big thing WWE advertised ahead of time for tonight was a contract signing between undisputed WWE champion John Cena and his SummerSlam challenger, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. They are set to square off at SummerSlam on August 2 and 3. And WWE is jumping right into the build following Cena's win over CM Punk at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's SmackDown. For this is the Cerebral Smack Talk. Hey there, welcome everybody to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am sitting in tonight for good old MF Michael Fletcher. I am joined, as always, by the Phenom, Michael Bullock. And before we start here tonight, I do have some unfortunate news that needs to be addressed here tonight. And Michael Bullock and myself received a message, an overnight message from good old MF Michael Fletcher. And due to circumstances, I guess we could say, beyond his control, MF will be, in a sense, taking sort of what I guess you could say, sort of like a leave of absence from our shows. And we hope and pray that everything is all right with him and everything else and the whole nine. And we don't know too much about this, but we are hopeful that whatever this is, that MF will, that everything will work out for him, and whether it's him or his family or whatever it is, regardless of what that is, our thoughts and we are thinking of good old MF Michael Fletcher. Our thoughts and our prayers are with him. And MF, take all the time you need. Bullock and I, we got this. And we'll be dedicating our shows, each and every show that we do, until you're ready to come back. We're dedicating all our shows to you, my friend. We love you. We're thinking of you. Get it all worked out. And we hope to have you back with us very, very soon. So with that being said, let's do this, and let's make MF proud here tonight, and let's do this justice. Now, because of the fact that MF is not here, we will be bypassing the TNA Impact reviews. So what we are going to do here tonight is Bullock and I will give you our thoughts on tonight's edition of SmackDown, Friday Night SmackDown. And we're also going to preview the TNA Slammiversary pay-per-view that will be taking place this Sunday night in Long Island. So with all that being said, let's dive right on in. Tonight, Friday Night SmackDown, live from the Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas, the home of the San Antonio Spurs, the 5-time NBA champion San Antonio Spurs, of course. And it's not often this happens, but we actually started it off with a match. But before then, before we got into that first match, we had a interesting situation here. The show opened with a multi-car accident scene outside the venue. Solo Sikoa, JC Mateo, Talatonga, and a bloody Tongaloa were talking with police and guest general manager for the night, Adam Pearce, while the Street Profits and BFAB were talking with other police officers. Cody Rhodes showed up and said he knew Adam Pearce had his hands full. Pearce gave him the SummerSlam contract and said he would catch up with him later. Kathy Kelly said she would provide updates. So, and there's more to that story later on. So, with that being said, let's dive on into our first match of the night. Charlotte Flair teaming Charlotte Flair with Alexa Bliss in her corner, squaring off against Raquel Rodriguez with Roxanne Perez in her corner. And the winner of the match, 9 minutes and 15 seconds, it was the Queen, Charlotte Flair. And on top of this, Charlotte told Alexa in a backstage segment earlier in the day that she went to Adam Pearce and it was announced that at SummerSlam, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss will challenge Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So there's another match added to this SummerSlam card. So let's break this all down here. First off, the match, it was a solid 3-star effort. Nothing, I'll tell you what. For once, Raquel Rodriguez found herself not towering over her opponent, but she still clearly had a power advantage. The Queen found herself on defense almost immediately. Nothing about what we saw in this match was surprising except for how slow and plotty it felt. There was no intensity or urgency to anything they did. They just sort of went through the motions. There was a late exchange of strikes that had some good energy, but it wasn't enough to make the match much better. Roxanne and Alexa both got involved in the ending, and it led to Charlotte winning with a roll-up. So I could give this in excess of maybe 2.5 to 3 stars. That's the best I can go for this. But nonetheless, a big win for Charlotte Flair. And next week on SmackDown in Cleveland, we're going to get the other half of this tandem. We're going to have Alexa Bliss one-on-one with Roxanne Perez next week. So we shall see. So not much more to say. Phenom, Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts here. Charlotte Flair defeating Raquel Rodriguez, 9 minutes and 15 seconds. And Alexa will now be challenging and Roxanne for the Bullock, are you there?
Oh, I didn't hear you. I didn't know if you were done. So yeah, it just broke up on my. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah. So 2.5 to 3. I'm with you on that. I mean, but yeah, and now Charlotte and Alexa gets a shot at Roxanne and Raquel Rodriguez for the tag titles at SummerSlam. So, and I don't know about you, Florio, but I got this feeling that they may actually put the belts on Charlotte and Alexa at SummerSlam. I don't know why. I mean, I know there's going to be some people out there who are saying, "Oh, no, look, Roxanne and Raquel. I mean, they're starting to gel some. Keep the titles on them." But there's just another part of me that they're really pushing this newly formed team of Charlotte and Alexa. So I don't know. I got a feeling they're going to win it, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Very possible.
It's possible. So we'll wait and see. So it's yours, Florio.
Yes, we shall. So, all right. Moving on here. We then moved on to a couple of backstage moments here. First of all, they put together a great video. Well, actually, it was police officers asking Adam Pearce if they knew where Jacob Fatu was. And an officer explained that Jacob Fatu was a person of interest in that car accident. And Pearce spotted Fatu and led the police to him. Fatu said he was not going with the punk ass police and said he didn't do anything. And Pearce told Fatu to answer their questions to avoid making things worse. And he calmed down and went with them. Then they aired a solid video package for Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, as we all know, they will be squaring off for the WWE Women's Championship at SummerSlam. So a nice solid package there. And then a backstage confrontation with Damian Priest and Carmelo Hayes, which, of course, led into a match. Our second match of the night, Damian Priest versus Carmelo Hayes. And Damian Priest wins the match via disqualification in an even 9 minutes due to outside interference from Aleister Black. So, Bullock, I got to ask, it sounds to me like we're going to have Damian Priest and Aleister Black. It sounds like they're on a collision course, maybe for a future SmackDown or maybe even SummerSlam.
I think it's got to be SummerSlam. That's what I think.
Especially with it being 2 nights.
Exactly. With this being 2 nights now, Florio, if this were just 1 night, then I would maybe say it's better off for SmackDown.
Definitely.
But because this is 2 nights, I think this is going to be it's going to be fitted for SummerSlam with these two. And and like you said, I mean, you got 2 persona, both of them with dark sides here, and of course now with Aleister Black now a heel, and I don't know, I got this funny feeling I think Aleister Black's going to go over here. So, we'll see. So, as far as the match goes, I'm going to give this about I'll give this about 2.5. I mean, I would say 2.5 to 3, but I'm only going 2.5 because of the DQ finish. So, it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. This may have been a powerhouse versus high flyer kind of match, but with Damian Priest being as quick on his feet as he is, it never felt like the action slowed down. These two worked well together and put on a solid performance that highlighted both of their strengths. And sadly, the match ended when Aleister Black interfered and tripped Damian Priest on the top rope to cause a disqualification. He knocked Priest out with Black Mass, and Hayes chose to make a quick exit instead of trying his luck. So, overall, it was a 3-star match, but we're going to bump it down to about 2.5, 2 3/4 because of the outside interference there. So, not much more to say there. Then there was a video package with the Wyatt 6. And then we had an in-ring segment, the MFTs, Solo Sikoa, the United States Heavyweight Champion, along with JC Mateo, Tala Tonga, and Tonga Loa, cut a promo, and then they were interrupted by the returning Jacob Fatu. He got cleared by the police, and then Jimmy Uso, he showed up, and that led to Jacob Fatu coming down, and Jimmy Uso snuck up in the back, technically 4-on-2, but Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso stood tall to end the segment. And then it was announced, Adam Pearce making the announcement. Remember, he was the guest GM tonight, sitting in for Nick Aldis. Adam Pearce made the announcement at SummerSlam. Solo Sikoa will defend the United States Heavyweight Championship against Jacob Fatu.
And what's it going to be in, Florio? Something that I know you're itching to say?
Oh, it ain't going to be no regular match. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
This match will be held inside the confines of a 15-foot high steel temper cage. Let's go. Whoa. Oh. Okay. To sum it up in short, decent segment that set up a big time match for SummerSlam that should be, and I believe will be, a lot of fun. So there's nothing more to say, just a decent segment. So that being said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts, quick thought on the segment, and of course, SummerSlam, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, United States Heavyweight Championship in a steel temper cage. Whoa, they're going all out for this thing.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, yeah, now with Solo Sikoa defending the title against Jacob Fatu inside of a 15-foot high steel temper cage, yeah, Yeah, there ain't no way Solo's buddies are gonna have any say in this. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this as Jacob gets another opportunity to reclaim the United States championship. So yeah, this was a decent segment. So there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on, Florio.
And we shall indeed move on. And well, it's not often this happens, but we have a cut. We had a cutout here. Stephanie Vacour, one-on-one with Alba Fire of the Secret Harvest. Piper Niven in her corner. Stephanie Vacour wins the match in 90 seconds, a minute and a half. Now if I know MF like I do, he would have been disappointed with this match because these are two women that MF knows very well. We all know how much MF is a big fan of Stephanie Vacour, but then again, who isn't? And of course, Alba Fire, who we all know he knows back in her days as Kaylee Ray.
The Scary Queen of Scots.
Scary Queen of Scots, that's right. And of course, with her wrestling career, her background coming from Scotland in that ICW promotion down there.
Yeah, and if Fletch were here with us, like you said, I think he would have been crying foul on this one. I mean,
I know he would have wanted a hard-fought competitive
two of his favorites.
Two very talented workers.
And yet they only get 90 seconds for this.
90 seconds. That's it. Just 90 seconds.
And I'm crying foul because I think these two deserve way better than 90 seconds.
Not that I'm defending it, but I think the only reason why they did this was, to make this a showcase for Stephanie Vacour. Because don't forget, she's got a huge match coming up next month. The end of next month.
At the Clash in Paris.
The biggest match of her main roster career.
But remember,
she challenges.
It was announced that it was going to be against whoever comes out of that triple threat match for the women's world title at SummerSlam.
Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, which is going to tear the house down at MetLife in the SummerSlam, no doubt about it. So we shall see what happens with that. But Stephanie Vacour will get the winner of that match for the Women's World Championship at the Clash in Paris on August 31st, Labor Day weekend. So too short to be much of anything, but the little bit of action we got looked good. So while I do have every right to call this a dud, I'm going to be a little generous and give this between half and 1 star for the effort. So, but anyways, we're going to have some fun now. Fatal 4-way tag team match here with the winning team challenging the Wyatt Six for the WWE Tag Team Championship. And that match will take place next week on Friday Night SmackDown at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. Fraxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin versus Ray Phoenix and Andrade, and versus DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. The winners of the match in 15 minutes and 45 seconds, and the number 1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championship, Ray Phoenix and Andrade. They get the title shot. Michael Bullock, how about it? Ray Phoenix and Andrade next week to challenge the Wyatt Six in the Wyatt Six's first title defense for the tag team titles in Cleveland next week.
Yeah, I mean, what a match this was. I mean, when you got all these teams that you just mentioned, I mean, this got something. This had something special right here. So I'm going to give this about 3.5, 3 3/4, and this was most definitely the fight of the night here. And yeah, congratulations to Andrade and Ray Phoenix. Now they're going to get their shot at the Wyatt Six for the tag titles next week. And like you said, the Wyatt Six's first title defense since winning it. But as much as I want to see Ray Phoenix and Andrade win it, I got a feeling the Wyatt Six are going to go over here.
Definitely.
I mean, it's their first title defense. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for them to drop the titles after just one title defense.
Absolutely not.
So, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. So, 3.5, 3 3/4, fight of the night. It's yours, Florio.
No doubt about it. I'm actually going to give it between 3.5 to 4. And this was no question. This was definitely the fight of the night. This was a fast-paced bout that delivered some of the best action of the night. All four of these teams are exciting and fun to watch, and seeing all of them together led to some entertaining moments. One of the biggest mysteries is why WWE seems comfortable keeping the Lucha Bros apart. Their history as a tag team has been acknowledged by WWE many times, so it is weird to see Phoenix teaming up with Andrade. I think this match could have benefited from being commercial free because the momentum never slowed down. Phoenix and Andrade win the match, making them the number one contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships, now held by the Wyatt Six of Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis. Chris Sabin's Tope Suicida looked awesome. And Tommaso Ciampa hit Fraxium with a slam from the middle rope to the floor that took out several other people, and it was one of the wildest spots, and it took place during the commercial break. But there was also a picture-in-picture break at one point during this. But nonetheless, excellent match. Far and away the fight of the night. 3.5 to 4 stars. Very good match. If you're pressed for time, go out of your way to see this match. This match was wow. That's all there is to it. So, all right. We move on. Before we move on to our final segment of the night, here's what you can expect next Friday night on SmackDown from the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. WWE Tag Team Championship matchup. Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, representing the Wyatt Six, against Ray Phoenix and Andrade for those tag titles. Alexa Bliss will go one-on-one with Roxanne Perez to preview the upcoming women's tag team title match at SummerSlam. And then from there, Randy Orton, Jelly Roll, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul will all be in Cleveland next week. And you thought the explosion from last Friday night on SmackDown was something. You thought what we saw on Saturday night's main event was something. Heck, if you thought what we saw this past Wednesday night on the Jimmy Kimmel show was something, where Jelly Roll was sitting in for Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Just having Randy Orton as his guest, and then all of a sudden, those two imbeciles, Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, had to literally ruin the fun.
Yep, but Jelly Roll got the last laugh on Logan Paul, putting him through Jimmy Kimmel's desk there. So
couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy is right.
Yeah, so for an absolute prick like Logan Paul.
Exactly.
But then again, you could also call Drew McIntyre a prick for what he said about Jelly Roll.
True, but
because
Logan Paul's the bigger one of those.
No. Logan Paul, no doubt about it. But Drew McIntyre, you gotta say, is right next to him, especially after when he said, "With all that weight you lost, how did it feel to see your Tootsie Roll for the first time in 20 years?"
Oh, man. So, with all that being said, let's move on to our final segment of the night.
Well, you want to talk about another imbecile? Well, here's one coming up right now.
Oh, yeah. Yep. All right. Here we go. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, for at least tonight, Nick Aldis was out. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce sitting in. He stood in the ring as we were about to have, our favorite Bullock, a contract signing. You know what that means, JBL?
It ain't going to end well.
Oh, and it did not. Cody Rhodes, John Cena, contract signing for their WWE Championship match at SummerSlam. And, well, let's just say at the end of this night, the American Nightmare got one over on the last real champ.
And we saw a side of Cody Rhodes that some people have been waiting to see since WrestleMania.
The last segment this week was the contract signing with Cody Rhodes and John Cena, but John Cena didn't show up until after the American Nightmare gave a promo. Predictably, Cena and Rhodes eventually got into a fight. The show ended with Cody Rhodes taking out John Cena, and he announced that their match at SummerSlam will not be a regular match either.
Oh, no.
At SummerSlam, John Cena will defend the undisputed WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes in a street fight. Whoa.
A street fight in MetLife Stadium?
Yep.
Yeah, all I can say is, it's going to get, let's just say it's going to get bowling shoe ugly here, Florio.
Oh.
Well, and
I'm going to be surprised.
And the thing is, Florio, we've been waiting for the side of Cody Rhodes because people we should have seen this at WrestleMania against Cena, and that was pretty much the beginning of his downfall and why Cena's the champ.
Absolutely.
And now with this being a street fight, I think we're about to see a different side of Cody Rhodes. So yeah, John Cena, you may have stoked something that you probably wish you should have left alone. And you saw what he tried to do, during the contract signing. He said, "Oh, I can't compete at SummerSlam because I got to film something for Netflix." Yeah, that describes you, John Cena. You're nothing more than a chicken shit. That's what you are. You can't beat Cody Rhodes, especially this side that you're seeing right now. And I hope, for the love of God, you get what's coming to you after all the shitty things you said, not just about Cody Rhodes and your opponents, but most importantly, the fans that you berated and that the ones that looked up to you, especially that kid you said is an example of a toxic relationship. Cody Rhodes, take it all out, get back that title, and even if people want to see him be a face again, you know what? Don't cheer for him. Boo him. Make this guy's the rest of his farewell tour a hell tour. Give him hell for everything that he said about you guys. Especially people like me and Florio who feel insulted by this big time prick. Period. End of quotation. End of statement. John Cena, you can go to hell. Straight to fucking hell.
Okay, how do I follow that? Well, I shall do my best. I mean, it was a definite for me. I would say segment of the night here. I mean, Cody got over on Cena here. Street fight rules at SummerSlam, which means anything goes. And I personally hope that we don't get Travis Scott again. I don't want to see Travis Scott. I mean,
I don't think you're going to have to worry about that, Florio.
Yeah, I should hope not either.
No, because I think I actually heard something that that Travis Scott is done with WWE.
Let's hope so. Because we don't want to rehash of WrestleMania again. We don't want that. So I got a good feeling that this will be better than the Mania match. I got a good feeling that this will be better. Especially with street fight rules. So we'll see what happens. It can go either way. I mean,
well, there is one person I have to worry about.
The Rock.
Yes.
The final boss. He could show up. You
Yeah,
never know. Could
that's
show
the
up.
thing. We may not have to worry about Travis Scott, but we
Oh, if the
forgot
final
about the
boss
final
shows up.
boss.
Oh boy, that's it. So we shall see what happens, but nonetheless, it'll be John Cena, Cody Rhodes in a street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship at SummerSlam. So, with all that being said, let's get into our overall review here. Not one of the better efforts, if I'm going to be honest with you. Not saying that it was totally bad. I'm going to give this an excess 6 to 6.5 for me. Tonight's SmackDown only had one standout match, and it was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match that was won by Andrade and Rey Fenix. Most of what we got was predictable and uneventful, but we did get the start of a new feud between Aleister Black and Damian Priest that should lead to a fun bout, so at least there's that. I mean, that Fatal 4-Way Tag match, far and away the fight of the night. You had a couple of solid, not overly spectacular matches with Charlotte and Raquel, and the match with Damian Priest and Carmelo Hayes, and then the final segment to close it out. So this was in excess of 6, teetering on 6.5 for me. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, let's get your overall thoughts on tonight's SmackDown, and then we'll get into Slammiversary.
Oh, I'll give this about 6.5. I mean, I'll just say it was solid, but not overly spectacular. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you had a couple, some good matches, but other than that, everything else was pretty much there. But well, and let's not forget another thing, Florio. This is what you get now that SmackDown is back to 2 hours. So I think this is just an adjustment period of with finally going back to 2 hours. So I'm sure they'll find their way. But right now it's just a little blip for them. So 6.5. So let's get into TNA Slammiversary.
Yes, indeed. TNA Slammiversary will take place this Sunday night on pay-per-view, as well as the TNA Plus app and on Triller TV. And it will emanate from the UBS Arena in Elmont, New York. And before we get into the business at hand, there will be two, not one, but two pre-show matches. First will be a 6-man tag team matchup. Jake Something, international champion Steve Macklin, and Mance Warner are going to team up against Zilla Fatu. Yes, that's Zilla Fatu. He's going to be there. Zilla Fatu, Real One, and Josh Bishop. That will be a 6-man tag team match on the pre-show that I believe starts at 7 o'clock or so. And the other pre-show match for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships, the champions, the Elegance brand, Ash and Heather by Elegance, to defend against the Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, best known to WWE fans as the Iconics. So you're going to see those two matches on the pre-show. Of course, pre-show matches, we usually don't get into those. So we're just going to get into the business at hand here. And we're going to go from bottom to top on this. So.
Well, before we get into that, Florio, let's talk about a big announcement.
Oh, yes. A big announcement was made. A big announcement was made. You saw it at the end of last night's Impact. If you saw it, by the way, during this summer season, TNA Impact is streaming for free on YouTube, on their YouTube channel. So you can see the show in full. They air it live on Thursday at 8, and then they upload it Fridays at 6 p.m. So, but at the very end of that show last night, as it was going off the air, you saw this little steamer trunk, I guess you could say. And inside of it, you saw gear that said P1 on it. What could that possibly mean?
Well, they announced it.
official announcement. Returning to TNA Wrestling for the first time in well over a decade, the phenomenal AJ Styles is going to be at Slammiversary.
Yeet!
Yeet on that, indeed. That is going to be, oh my goodness, that pop is going to be otherworldly when he shows up. Oh,
he was the face of that franchise for so long. And the face of that franchise is coming home.
It has been said that if it were not for the phenomenal AJ Styles, there would be no TNA wrestling.
I'm not going to debate that.
Like Michael Bullock said, he was the heart and soul of TNA wrestling. When TNA made its debut June 19th of 2002, that very first NWA TNA pay-per-view, when they used to have those weekly episodes that were on pay-per-view, $10. You only had to pay $10 for those. And AJ Styles, the inaugural TNA X Division champion, you can make an argument that he was the greatest X Division champion of all time. Also a former multi-time World Tag Team champion, and of course a former multi-time TNA World Heavyweight champion. So the phenomenal one will be in Long Island on Sunday night. And man, oh man, my sides are aching just thinking about that excitement to come. Oh my goodness.
And what kind of a role he's going to have in the event.
I cannot wait to find out. We all can't wait to find out. So with all that being said, here we go. TNA Wrestling is preparing for Slammiversary 2025. 8 matches have been announced for the show, which will take place on Sunday night. The action will emanate from the UBS Arena in Elmont, New York, right around Long Island. Mike Santana will hope to cap off his homecoming with a TNA World Championship win. To do so, he will need to get past reigning title holder Trick Williams and former TNA Heavyweight Champion in his own right, Joe Henry, in a 3-way bout. WWE will have a presence at Slammiversary. There's the aforementioned TNA World Champion Trick Williams, who performs on the NXT brand. NXT Women's Champion JC Jane will also compete on Sunday night, and she has a chance to add another singles championship to her mantle. She will take on TNA Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich, and the winner will leave New York with both titles. And last but not least, as we mentioned, Monday Night Raw star, the phenomenal AJ Styles, will be making an appearance on Sunday. And Styles was considered to be the face of TNA for well over a decade. So with all that being said, let's dive on in. Here we go. We started off with we're going to start it off here with a 6-man tag team matchup, as it will be 3 members of NXT's Dark State stable. It's going to be 3 out of the 4 members. You have Dion Lennox, you have Osiris Griffin, you have Saquon Sugars, and you have Cutler James. 3 of those guys will team up to take on... Well, actually, no, it's all 4 members of Dark State. I beg your pardon. This is an 8-man tag team match. All 4 members of Dark State versus, representing the system, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, Johnny Dango Curtis, and Matt Cardona. Now, you know the history of Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. The Edgeheads, the Major Brothers, Hawkins and Ryder. So they're teaming up. So here we go. Brian Myers has been put in an awkward position involving the system and Cardona. Myers refused to participate in a post-match beatdown of Cardona, courtesy of the system, which Myers is a member of. The faction has also begrudgingly sided with Cardona in the fight against NXT's Dark State. It's clear WWE is hoping to develop Dark State into a viable faction in the vein of the Shield. A win for Dark State allows TNA to continue telling the story of Brian Myers being conflicted amid issues with his former tag team partner, Cardona, and his current faction. I can see this leading to the system giving Myers an ultimatum at some point. Maybe as soon as Sunday, who knows? But at the end of the day, I am going with Dark State to win this match. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, all 4 members of Dark State versus Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, Johnny Dango Curtis, and Matt Cardona. 8-man tag. I got Dark State. What says you?
Yeah, I got to go with Dark State. I mean, they're going to. I think that whole ultimatum for Brian Myers, I think, is going to come back to haunt the team. So I got Dark State winning this.
All right, Bullock, let's get into our next match here. All right, here you go. It's going to be Tessa Blanchard, one-on-one with Indy Hartwell. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Tessa Blanchard here, and I don't think she's going to win this one cleanly. I think she's going to probably cheat to win by nefarious means. So Tessa Blanchard wins, so it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Tessa Blanchard has cooled off a bit since losing to Masha Slamovich at TNA Rebellion. She suffered TMJ dysfunction during her singles match with Ariana Grace at Under Siege. With how strongly she was presented on TV during her return initially, it's almost difficult for me to see anything but a win for Blanchard here. The only way I see Indy Hartwell winning is with a roll-up to give Blanchard an out. I don't envision Hartwell planning Blanchard with Hurt's donut for the pinfall. If Hartwell pulls off the win, I would imagine she would be set up to challenge for that TNA Knockouts Championship or whoever comes out of that winner-take-all match, which we'll get into in a bit. Well, I think the scenario is possible for a Hartwell win. I feel TNA has been very high on Blanchard, despite the backwards booking that we've had for her for a little bit, despite the backlash anyways. So I'm with you, Bullock. I got Tessa Blanchard also winning this match. So, all right. We've seen this before. You got to go back to WrestleMania 30 on the WrestleMania 34 kickoff show when these two men battled for what was then the vacant WWE Cruiserweight Championship, but they're battling again here. Mustafa Ali, one-on-one with Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander, of course, he's now with TNA now, so here we go. Let's take a look at this. Tasha Steelz of Order 4 pulled a fast one on Cedric Alexander by betraying him after the former WWE star offered his assistance to help Mustafa Ali get back on track. Steelz and Order 4 used Alexander's concern against him. Now Steelz has taken a more aggressive attitude with Ali in an effort to bring the faction back to prominence. While this will be Alexander's first big pay-per-view event under TNA, I think he's going to be staring at the lights. The storyline has been building to a fresh start for Order 4, and I think Mustafa Ali will have his hand raised and begin to see Tasha Steelz' plan coming to fruition. So I'm going to go with Mustafa Ali to win this match, but I would not at all be surprised if Cedric Alexander won this match either. I think they want to give Ali the payback from well over 7 years ago. So Mustafa Ali wins. Michael Bullock, Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander. We've seen it in WWE. Now we're going to see it on TNA Slammiversary.
Yeah, I got to go with Mustafa Ali to win as well. I mean, after what's happened in 7 years, especially with Cedric Alexander, so Mustafa Ali wins.
All right, Bullock, let's set you up for the next match here. All right, well, I'm going to skip over that one because that's on the pre-show. All right, here we go. From here on in, it's all about the title matches, and they're all big ones. First up, X Division Championship on the line. The champion Moose defending against Leon Slater. Michael Bullock, who you got?
Yeah, I got Moose winning and retaining the title. I just think, I mean, Leon Slater, I think, was going to give him a bit of an effort, but I think Moose is just too powerful, and that's why I'm going to go with Moose to retain. So it's yours, Florio.
Okay. All right, hang on one second here. My screen keeps freezing on me. All right. It's become clear that Leon Slater is destined to capture plenty of championships throughout his career. The 20-year-old uses his athleticism to his advantage, but he's also wise beyond his years in the ring. His time with the Hardys has also done wonders for his growth, both as a performer and as someone fans can get behind. I like the story TNA has told of why a win would hold significance for both men. Slater is trying to become the youngest champion in TNA history. Moose wants to become the record holder for the longest TNA X Division championship reign. At the end of the day, I believe with momentum on his side, I think it's time for Slater to capture his first major singles title and make history in the process. So for me, winner and new TNA X Division champion, Leon Slater. Next up, we got ourselves a fatal four-way ladder match. That's right, you heard me right. Fatal four-way ladder match for the TNA World Tag Team Championship. The champions, Nick and Ryan Nemeth, defending against Matt and Jeff, the Hardys, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz of the Rascals, and AJ Francis and KC Navarro of First Class. During last night's episode of TNA Impact, the Hardys hinted at a split if they don't emerge victorious Sunday night. It's hard for me to see Matt and Jeff parting ways as a team, given that they're still one of the most popular acts in TNA wrestling. Fans haven't gotten tired of the legendary tag team. TNA's creative team could ultimately decide to have the Nemeths retain at Slammiversary and put a bow on their rivalry with the Hardys at the next pay-per-view with a stipulation. That's where it can become a true do-or-die scenario for the Hardys' future as a team. But ultimately, I think TNA decides to give the Hardys a title win in New York, which would draw a sizable reaction from the crowd at UBS Arena. Very tough to call. Out of all the matches on this card, this is the toughest one for me to call. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say the winners and new, and once again, TNA World Tag Team Champions, Matt and Jeff, the Hardys. But I wouldn't be surprised if any of those other teams win it either. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, you know the names. It's a fatal four-way ladder match for the World Tag Team Championships. This is the Hardy specialty.
Oh yeah, the Hardy specialty, and yeah, because of what they said last night, I just don't see them splitting up anytime soon. Because the fans, they still love the Hardys. I mean, heck, we do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we got so much respect for them, and I think it would be a huge mistake for TNA to have them lose and split up. That would be a huge mistake. So I'm actually with you, Florio. Winner and new TNA World Tag Team Champions. And once again, the champs, the Hardy Boys. And let's just say, Florio, this victory is going to be wonderful. Delightful. Yes.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. All right. Are you ready for the two big main events? Here we go. And I believe you'll be leading off on this first one, Bullock. Here you go. Mm-hmm. Winner take all. Champion versus champion, title for title. For both the TNA Knockouts World Championship and the NXT Women's Championship. TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich versus NXT Women's Champion JC Jane. Michael Bullock, who's walking out with all the gold?
Boy, I mean, there's a lot that can happen here, but part of me wants to go with Masha Slamovich to become both. I mean, to be both the Knockouts champ and the NXT Women's Champion. But you've told me this, Florio, many times. Why do I get this feeling that they're going to put the belts on JC Jane? Because This is all about what's it been all about with JC Jane.
Everybody's saying, "Oh, JC Jane is such a beatable champion, and she's a transitional champion." I
And
don't
they
see
want, and I think they want to prove us wrong.
exactly.
They want to prove us wrong with that.
Yep.
So as much as I want to see Masha be a double champion, I'm sorry, and especially after what we saw on NXT, if they're going to go the booking 101 route, I got to say winner and both the NXT Women's Champion and the TNA Knockouts Champion, JC Jane. But of course, don't be surprised to see Fatal Influence have a say in this. So
Definitely.
after all that,
But I'm going to give you one better on this one. I'm going to give you one better on this in just a moment. There are quite a few ways to get to the finish of this title for title crossover bout, but I believe the winner will remain the same. JC Jane is in the midst of a storyline with Blake Monroe on NXT. WWE has been quickly building up Monroe as a star of the future, and I don't see Jane losing her title until the two share the ring. Masha Slamovich has been the TNA Knockouts World Champion since last October, when last October at their biggest event of the year, Bound for Glory, she took that title from Jordynne Grace, and she's held that title ever since. She's been the champ since October of 2024, and losing to JC Jane due to outside interference would protect her. Rather than the actions of Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix playing a role in the finish, I can see Blake Monroe making a surprise appearance to cost Masha Slamovich the match. It appears WWE is leaning into the story that Monroe wants Jane all to herself when they inevitably clash for the NXT Women's Championship. So the winner and NXT Women's Champion and TNA Knockouts Champion, JC Jane. And that leads us to the main event of the evening, triple threat match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Trick Williams, versus former TNA World Heavyweight Champion in his own right, Joe Henry, and versus Mike Santana. Since Trick Williams defeated Joe Henry to capture the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at NXT Battleground, the storyline has been that Williams doesn't care about TNA's history. It has left who have been tasked with bringing TNA's richest prize back to the company. TNA has been building Mike Santana up as a viable main event player. His popularity has grown substantially, not just with TNA fans, but with the NXT audience as well. Yes, Joe Henry remains the biggest star in the company, but his time with the TNA World Heavyweight Championship has coming on. And many also figure that Joe Henry is WWE bound once his contract with TNA expires. For me, this is the time to let Mike Santana run with the ball. You don't get many opportunities to have a perfect storm in wrestling, and Santana winning the gold in his home in honor of his late father is the perfect ending to TNA's summer anniversary. And as I've stated before many of times on our programs, Mike Santana's from the Bronx, New York. This show's in Long Island. You do the math. Winner and new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Mike Santana. Take us home, Bullock.
Yeah, I mean, with this being in New York, there's no way TNA should fumble this opportunity to give the hometown rub to Mike Santana. No. I mean, if they have Trick Williams go over here, that would be a huge mistake. And it would just get more heat on Trick Williams. And Trick doesn't care about the history of that TNA title. As you've heard, he said it's not the TNA title, it's the Trick-N-A world title. Yeah.
Please
get the you-know-what out with that shit. Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah, winner and new TNA World Heavyweight Champion Mike Santana. And oh boy, it's just going to be the beginning of a bad week for you, Mr. Trick Williams. Because not only you're going to lose the title at Slammiversary, you're going to have to deal with a certain phenom on NXT.
Oh,
The Undertaker is going to appear to confront Trick Williams after not only did he disrespect the phenom, and he also disrespected his team from LFG.
that's right.
So this is just going to be the beginning of a bad week for you, Trick Williams, and Undertaker's going to whoop that trick on you. And quite frankly, I'm going to enjoy every bit of it. And I ain't going to
I
feel
know
sorry
you
for
will.
you for one bit. And my best advice to you, do not poke the bear because the phenom, the dead man, has retired. And if you try to poke the bear, Undertaker may have no choice but to bring back the dead man and the phenom from Death Valley. And if
I
you
can
do
see it.
that, there may be a special place for you in Death Valley with your name on it.
Remember what the Undertaker said at the when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Never say never.
So, Trick, choose your words wisely.
Don't start something you can't finish, big boy.
Don't start something you can't finish because the Undertaker doesn't forgive and he doesn't forget.
Keep your words soft and sweet, big boy, because sooner or later you will have to eat them, and the Undertaker will see to it that you do.
And I'm going to enjoy every single minute of it. You're going to have Florio, you're going to have my smile surgically removed.
Another Jerry Lawlerism. So,
yeet on that one.
Yeet on that one indeed. So
let's put a bow on this.
All right. Now, I do want to ask Bullock. We were unable to do, of course, as you know, last night we were unable to do TXN Sports World. So
yes, let's do it.
When? Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night.
Okay. All right.
10:30.
Okay. So,
and for those of you who don't know, we're gonna recap the All-Star festivities in Major League Baseball with the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game itself. Of course, there won't be a Big Three recap because Fletch will not be.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Big Three because I have been watching it, and I will honor MF, and I'll do this in honor of MF, and I know I'll do it justice for him. So.
All right. And then, of course,
we're gonna start the show off with that. By the way, we're gonna start the show off with the Big Three,
and of course, also we'll recap the ESPY Awards, and of course, the main event, the 2025-26 NHL schedule was released.
Indeed,
and we're gonna break down. We're not gonna go through all of it because we'd be here forever.
Right.
We're gonna just go through some of the key matchups during the season.
I do have a set of notes about notable things, so I will go off of that. So that'll be here. You go. All right. So of course, as you know, last night we had to postpone TXN Sports World because Bullock was out late and MF wasn't on, obviously. So and we did this show here tonight because that's our traditional Friday show. So tomorrow night at 10:30, right here on the Tone 25, we will have a special Saturday night edition of TXN Sports World. You already know the docket. You just heard it. So that'll be tomorrow. And then Tuesday night, we are going to, of course, we've got Monday Night Raw. We got NXT. And, of course, down the road, we will have a recap of the TNA Slammiversary. We could probably save that for this show next week. So we'll take it from there. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the special Saturday night edition of TXN Sports World, this is Anthony Florio here for the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, our tag team partner, our dear friend and our brother, good old MF Michael Fletcher. We're thinking of you, MF. We hope that whatever's going on, we're praying for you. And remember, we're all in this together, brother. We're all in this together. So we got you, man. We got you. So take all the time you need, and we do hope to have you back with us very, very soon. So good old MF Michael Fletcher in spirit, absolutely. And of course, our first lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Saturday. And until tomorrow night for the special Saturday edition of TXN Sports World, you've been watching the Cerebral Smack Talk right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.